Hello? Can you hear me talking? Can't hear me talking. Hello? Is that better? Much better? My hand's not anywhere near my mouth. Do you reckon? It's very quiet. Yes. Yes. You are louder now. Hi. Hello, everybody. Can you guys hear audio as well? Like music playing? No? Oh. That's fine. We don't have to hear the music. I can't hear music, only voice. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to listen to my music anyway. Unless you do. We can add it in. Audio. Audio input capture. Okay. Should be able to hear some music. Desktop. There we go. Is this better? I hear the music now. Okay, cool. And you can all hear me fine? Cool. Okay. If anybody can't hear me or anything like that, just let me know, and I will adjust it as we go along. Cool. Okay. So what is this and why are we doing it? I wanted to do some more personal work, and I thought, why not? Why not record it as we're going along? So you guys will see all of the flaws, all of the mistakes I make, how I go about things. Sometimes I might talk through it. Hi, so excited to join. Oh, sorry, I'll be trying to read as I go along as well. Oh gosh, where'd that go? There we go. If I, oh, that's really annoying. I can't have that and that. There we go. Okay, so why are we doing this? So yeah, I'm just gonna do some personal work. Been wanting to do it for a while, and I'm kind of holding you guys accountable to make me do some personal work. So, yeah, I don't often get a chance to do it, so let's get going. So, who are we going to do? I'm going to do a likeness sculpt of one of my favourite actors. He's called Vincent Price, and what I'll show you kind of like, here's some of the reference images that I've started to gather. I love face casts. I think they're amazing, and you can get some like really cool detail in some of these stuff. Because he's an actor, he has quite a lot of these face casts already done, showing different ages, which is quite useful for us when we're doing head sculpts, because then we can start to see kind of like the skeletal structure, and that's the main important thing for me when I'm creating heads, is knowing where these forms actually are. So I got like just loads of random random images. I want this so bad. I will get it one day. So, but it's just a little bit pricey. So, pricey like Vincent pricey? Oh god, no. Okay, we started. We started on the bad jokes already. So, what I've tried to do here, I've just tried to grab as many views as I can of him. I know that there's kind of like different ages. This is kind of the age that I want to do from him. So about this age. So this is when he did one of my favourite films called Dr. Phibes. And this is kind of quite cool as well. I really, really like this. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit older, but we can kind of get the gist of it. So let's. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start creating a kind of a mood board, and I'm just going to grab loads of different references that I think will be quite handy for me. I might need to go bigger with the board itself. So I like to work big. And the reason why I'm doing this in Photoshop and not PureRef just yet, we will be going in PureRef, but I'm basically just trying to gather everything to kind of draw over it. So you'll see kind of like the points that I'll be using. If you guys have questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. I will try and answer them as I go along, but I cannot promise. I want a front-on view. And 3/4. Why not? So something I do as well, even though I know the structure of a skull, I always kind of grab some reference in there as well, just to kind of remind me. I normally put a little bit smaller, just because it's just something I can just refer to very, very quickly if I need it. These ones I just got off of ArtStation. So I did try to start doing this guy already. Disclaimer. But I'm gonna redo him. Just because I learned a lot from doing it the first time, and I was trying to do it on the iPad as well. So you can see here that I'm kind of like rotating some of these, just to get a good angle. Where's rasterize? Rasterize. Just getting rid of any of that stuff that I don't really need. And since I have done this guy before, I've actually found better images from when I first tried to do it, actually. So, which was quite cool. It was more of just trying to play with ZBrush. That's why I was doing it. What a lovely looking fella. So if you guys don't actually know who this actor is, he's very, very big in the horror world. Like classic horror, I'm gonna say. But everyone will know who he is when I tell you. It's the guy, if you know the song Thriller, Thriller, that one. He is the guy who did the voice over the top who goes, "Darkness moves across the land." He's that guy. So, knowing him without knowing him per se. Okay, so what I'm going to do now I've kind of got like a good variety. I normally come in and I just do a hue saturation on everything, because I sometimes find color kind of like takes away from the actual image itself. So if we just take away the hue and saturation, and I'm just going to bring this down here a little bit, because the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one, and I'm just going to try and do some lining up with things. So just to start to work out some of those measurements. So you can see I'm trying to work out where the ears are, so I'm just going, I always go from left to right for some reason. Don't know why. Just a thing. And then I'm gonna rotate it a little bit just to kind of like line it up. I know this guy has got his eyes closed. We will be doing him with his eyes open because I want him to look alive. So I'm just putting a couple of lines like that, just so I can start to see some of those areas. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, now I've got that, I'm only doing the front view, by the way, for this. I'm going to grab a brush, and I'm just going to come in and start to put some lines across here, just to kind of help me work some of this stuff out. No. Push control too many times. As I said, if you guys hadn't started from the beginning, I will literally be doing this as if I was actually doing it in a full project, so you can see all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, and all the mistakes that I make at the same time. So now I've got this. Do you use the plane for every sculpt you do? It all depends really with that. If I'm doing a likeness, something like this, because I really want to try and get the likeness, then I do this kind of planning. If I'm just freeballing it, just want to do a head model, I just normally kind of grab a couple of images and just throw it on a pure ref. But because I want to do a likeness and I want to get it exact, this is where I would kind of come in and do the planning a little bit more. Turn the audio up. Okay. Which audio? My talking audio? Sorry, that was Tier that came in and said turn the audio up. So I'm going to turn it up. If it's too much, let me know. If it's too little, let me know as well. Okay, so now I've got this, I'm going to just save it out in reference, and I'm just going to save it as a JPEG, and I'm going to call Vince full, and we'll save it like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a new texture, and I'm just going to go 2048 by 2048, and we'll save it like that. And then what I want to do is I want to grab the side view, which I had that really good one right here. And I'm just going to flip it horizontally, and I'm going to try and get as much of this as I can. So that's pretty good. And then I'm just going to color this all black. So there is a method to my madness. Bear with me, bear with me. Okay, so now I'm going to save this as a JPEG. Vince 2K. And now this is where I'll kind of jump into PureF as well. And then I will add in those images that I just had. So this is kind of like my main planning one. And then what I do as well, I just grab all of the other ones just so they're all in there as well. So if I do ever need to go back onto them, I can, and I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, and then I'm just going to plonk that to one side. Ooh, got a. What's going on? Might have your mic. Ooh, got double mic going on. Right. Is this better? Hello? No, turn that one on. Okay, let's try that. See if that is a bit better. Sorry, we're learning. First time doing this, guys. First time doing this. Well, first time doing it in a while. Okay, so now let's jump over to ZBrush. So what I'm using here is the ScanStore head. It's one that I purchased. Used to be able to get this for free. I'm not sure if you can still get it anymore. I was trying to look for it earlier for you guys if you wanted to join in, but I couldn't actually see it. But I will try and find it. Hey Gary. So yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a plane. So I'm just going to append a plane right here. And it's absolutely massive. I don't know why it's that big, but let's make it a little bit smaller. Down like that. And turn it around. And I'm just going to put it to the side. So what I'm essentially going to do is I'm going to project that sideways texture image onto here. So if I come in and import this one like this, and then I'm going to come over and go texture and then just put it on like that. So let's turn this around. And if I go transparent, and I'm going to try and line it up the best that I can with this. So yes, I am like rotating it and stuff, but it's a case of just trying and get a middle ground with it. Now things won't line up, like for example, like the lips and things like that. So you're just going to have to pick a middle ground point for it. That's pretty good. Kind of happy with that. Okay. So now I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up a few subdivisions on this mesh. So you can see I'm going up right there, and then I'm going to delete them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my lasso tool, and I'm just going to go around this mesh. And I'm just going to remove the bits that I don't actually need. There's probably a quicker way to do this, but I'm just making sure that I don't cut any of the white bits out at this point. Doesn't matter if it's not 100% perfect. Well, I do apologise. I will make stupid noises. And I do apologise about the music as well. I had to find something that was royalty free. I keep saying royalty free. Like Dan Royalty. Royalty free. Because last time I tried to do this for a charity event, I got kicked off of YouTube because I was using non-licensed music. It was like a 12-hour sculptathon that I was doing. Right, so why I'm going to use this as a template. This is kind of like a technique that I got taught by Scott Eaton. If you guys don't know Scott Eaton, go check him out. Absolutely incredible sculptor. Gary, if you're still in here, Gary's been taught by Scott Eaton as well. Right, obviously we can't work out the neck, but that is fine. So now I've got that, I'm just going to come over to deletes hidden, and so that we've always got this. So now I placed it in the center of the head, and what I'm going to do is I kind of like working with layers at this point, just to just so I can go back and forth, just because sometimes it's nice to see that you made a difference. Couple of things, I'm just going to make sure that I'm in symmetry. I know his head isn't symmetrical, but at this point in time, I just want to try and start getting the overall shape. So something that you'll find when we do this is we're going to try and match up as close as we can to this, and then when we come to the front, it's going to look god awful. Okay, that's why I did these measurements right here, so then I can look back and kind of use it as a guide, because we'll understand where the ears and stuff are at that point. You'll notice as well I haven't got enough subdivisions on this as yet, and that's I like to start working low and then build up. I just feel like I have a little bit more control in that area. So I'm going to turn on AccuCurve. So I'm in Move Topological. We're going to come over to Brush. We're going to come over to Curve and AccuCurve. And I'll just quickly tell you what AccuCurve actually does. So if I come to move a mesh like that, you can kind of see that it has like this roundness to it, where if we turn AccuCurve on, you can see it kind of has a point. So because we're pushing and pulling, I kind of want to make sure that it's pushing and pulling the right parts that I'm selecting. Okay. So I'm just coming around and I'm just trying to hit all of those little keynotes. Now there'll be some areas that I won't get 100%, and it will be like a little working back and forth. But this starts to give us a good indication. I'm putting in those landmarks. So what I'm going to do, there was a picture that I had, a really good one earlier, and it was like the back of his head. Where is it? So this is a little bit of guessing game with it. I'm just going to grab the eyes and I'm going to turn that off, and I'm just going to try and place the eyes where I think they need to be. I'm just going to put those there. So the eyes have got a little bit of thickness to them. So we're going to go about there. That's a good point. Something that we can try and do as well. If you can see me on the camera, I'm kind of like pointing to where the nose is, and I'm just then just kind of like moving some of these bits back just so I can get a good direction of where this stuff is. Then I can easily move it back a little bit after. Ooh, wrong way. So one of the things that we're gonna look at is I'm gonna go into the move tool and I'm gonna push Y, and then you kind of get this kind of like different kind of moving tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the eye to the mouth, and then we can see right here that the edge of the mouth, so it's probably about there, is kind of almost where the eye is. So that's something that we're going to add into our model right now. So I'm just going to move it back. And again, this is going to look really weird from the front because we haven't even like touched the front yet. The side view is your key to success with these. I'm just going to bring that down. And even though I'm looking at this, I'm still looking at my reference as well that I've got on the side. Now you can, if this is annoying you, they're going back and forth, sometimes it does get a little bit annoying. You can easily, if we bring in our texture, we can literally click here and we can add that to here as a little extra. But again, we're to try and match it up as the best as we can. Yes, I do it like this sometimes as well, but it just all depends. All depends how I'm feeling. All depends what's working for me at the particular time of my life. Sorry if you guys are messaging. Hey Zach. Happy to see you live. Cool. So I'm just going to push all of this back. I'm just going to push his jaw back a little bit. So he's got such a saggy looking jaw. What am I saying? There will be times that I go quiet, I promise. Okay, so now I've kind of got this. It's not looking exactly like him yet, but we need to trust the process. Trust it. So I'm going to just start to play with the eyes. I'm just going to turn this off a little bit for a minute, and I'm just going to make sure that my eyes are wrapping round. I will replace these eyes eventually with actual none of these. This is just what came with the model, but for now, this will do. And what we'll do is as well, we're just gonna grab these two. And I'm just going to, so with them selected, I'm just going to go Control W. Let's do it a few times. So it's a different colour, just so we can get that in there. Okay, like that. Just so I can know where the actual edge of the eyeball is. I'm very, very big when it comes to like the eyes. I always find when your eyes don't look right, it's normally because the eyes aren't hugging the eyeball enough. So just putting in those edge loops just kind of helps do that a little bit more. And we'll work on the eye shape a little bit later. Okay, so now I'm going to just jump to the front a little bit. And we're just going to start to work out some of the facial structure of him. You'll see me jump between different matte caps as well. It's just a habit, just to refresh my eyes a little bit. But I'm just going in and just trying to work out where those things are. I'll jump between move and clay build up. Again, I'm still very much in that first subdivision mode of it, and also I'm using Shane Olsen's. Okay, that's not working. Well, not working. Pinch. There we go. Shane Olsen's brush as well, just because it has like a good pinch to it, rather than using. Yes, I use Damn Standard as well. I kind of like just jump around a little bit with those kind of tools. The standard. There's no magic brush that I use. Again, I'm still not looking too much about the asymmetry of this guy. I'm just trying to get those structures in. And we'll start talking about skeletal structure in a bit. I'm just trying to get some of the facial features in. That's kind of a little bit more representative of where I'm going with this. So even though I did go and use the side view, I will keep going over and checking it after I've like moved it in place as well. This guy's got really big ears, like massive ears. Poor Vincent. I'm just trying to fill out some of those areas. So again, looking at my reference images and just pulling some of that stuff together. Okay, so now I started to block out some of that shape a little bit. It's still not 100% where I want it to be, but now I'm going to go up a few subdivisions because now I want to start sculpting in some um, skeletal structure to kind of like help me out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this and we're just going to start working out where the zygomatic arch is, because now this stuff is going to kind of like help me work out where the rest of the skull is. So if we kind of bring some of this stuff over, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to work out where some of these kind of like landmarks are. So on Vincent's face, so if we go to a side view, so we can kind of see that his cheek kind of comes down quite low, and then we can see right here the skeletal zygomatic arch right there. So we're trying to add these kind of forms in a little bit, and even with the little Z shape that goes here for the temporal line as well. So we're just trying to add some of this stuff in, as well as working out. So right here, this is where the skull would come to as well. So these are the areas that I'm trying to kind of like add in and work out, and I'll start moving things as I go. So there'll be times where I go a little bit too cutting and a little bit too off, and then but I'll just be moving this stuff as I go. Well, these are kind of like my landmarks that I always look for. And superciliary arches, which are the little kidney beans that are kind of like up here. So I'm not too worried about like facial fat and things at the moment. I just want those kind of shapes to be starting to be thought about. Hey Zara. Hey Maxine. So I'm going to start kind of like mapping in some of like the orbital arch as well, just so we kind of got that stuff in. Again, this is very, very rough. And now I'm starting to work out where some of those fat pads are, because with Vincent, he's actually what I'll do. Let me, because instead of having to keep looking over and you guys not knowing what I'm actually looking at, let's see if I can do this. Watch a dinosaur try to use he always on top. There we go. Always on top. So you guys can see where what I'm looking at. And yes, I said I wasn't going to, but I'm going to start knocking in some of this stuff as well. Even though this guy's going to have hair, I do like to kind of get the cranium kind of similar shape. Again, I'm not too worried about symmetry at this point. I'm just blocking out some of the anatomy that I know that's gonna come up. So then we can start working out kind of like structures and things like that. So we can start to get the shape looking a little bit more like him. You kind of see me again jumping between different mat caps just to help refresh my eye a little bit. Let's try and get some of his lips. Guys, got any questions? You can more than happy to answer them. Let's start putting in some of the structure of the lip. Following this lip line is really, really important to do. I'm just kind of pulling it out, exaggerating a little bit, just so I know where that line's going to be. Again, exaggerating. At this point, I'm trying to, the way how I kind of do these is, especially when doing portraits, I kind of want it to be like a caricature of them to start off with, and then we can kind of like build in the actual structure of those shapes. Oh, you'll hear me go "Way" a lot. I don't know why I do that. Just it's a thing. It's a thing. So we can even like come and double check some of his like lip shapes. Again, I had like all of those different versions right here, so we can kind of see how they would have looked when he was a lot younger. So and it's always good to have those kind of things, even though we're trying to aim for a particular shape, particular age. Sorry. Because then that kind of tells us kind of like the structure that his kind of face went through, and like what's part of old age as well, because he's like very like he's got like these massive jowls even when he was younger. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. We're not there yet. Not there yet. But we're getting closer. This is always the fear of doing this kind of stuff when you're trying to do like a likeness, especially when you're trying to do a likeness and you're trying to do it as a live stream as well. It's good practice. It's good practice. I'm saying it's good practice. We'll see how it turns out. Depends if I do another one of these. If I never do another one of these, you know I hated it. I'm joking. I quite like doing this. It's just a matter of time, innit? There's always time For one last kiss. 10 points if anybody guesses that quote. Not gonna lie, I don't know if anybody's here or not. Don't know if you've all disappeared. Chat's gone quiet. If you're here, give me a hey yeah. So something I do quite a bit as well, I do like to work in like wireframe, because I feel like sometimes it kind of helps give me an indication of some of the movements and direction that the forms are kind of picking on, taking. Again, even as well as changing the matte caps, I also kind of change the color of it a little bit, just to help with my sanity. Just rechecking to make sure that these forms are reading correctly. So if there's a particular form I know that I'm trying to get here, so for example, like with this under bit here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask it off. Mask that shape off right there. That goes quite down. And then I'm going to smooth it a few times and then invert it. And then what I'm going to do using clay buildup, I'm just going to start sculpting that direction. So you can see it's kind of like those forms right here that I'm trying to get. And even though, a little tip, even though I'm sculpting over here, my eyes are actually on this side, so looking to see what those structures are actually doing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold smooth. Oh, I had a stutter there. Just to kind of bring out some of those little forms just a little bit more. Again, we will be over exaggerating them to try and get that as a caricature, and then once I'm happy with it, I will then kind of come back and bring it into a more real world. So something that we had to think about as well when we're doing this stuff is, now I don't know the exact field of view used on this, so it's a little bit of a guessing game, and just kind of working out from multiple pictures, kind of where we're what's the best angle for this kind of stuff. No, I don't know the quotes, unfortunately. I was born in. So, the quote. Okay, so the quote was from The Mask. There's always time for one last kiss. Sorry, you guys will get used to it. I do loads of random quotes. I love that film. It's such a good film. Don't say you love it too much, Wellington. I'll end up testing you at work. Right. I'm just checking over just to start to see what I need to start putting in place, because I feel like we've started to get the skeletal structure of him. It's not looking exactly where I want it to be right now, but that is fine. Just analyzing. So this is where we can do one or two things. If you're just trying to train your eye to work out, okay, can I do it? Like the whole thing of like life drawing, trying to look at it, if how far can I get with pushing it with my own eye. Or there's a thing where we can kind of put an image over the top and see how close we are. And then normally with this, I get horrified and scared. But let's do it. Let's grab one of the images and let's put it over the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab 2048 by 2048, and we will grab a good head front shot. And again, we're gonna have to be careful with some of these things, but I'm just trying to make sure I've got everything lined up. And I'm going to just gonna put this in here. And we're just going to save it as a JPEG. Front. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of line it up there. We're going to import our front view, and I just want to make sure that I've just got the head in it, so around about there, because we're gonna put this over the top. Let's remove that one. Let's forget which one it is. There we go, so we can kind of get rid of the background. We're gonna turn down the opacity, and we're just going to try and line up some of those areas. So this is where we're going to have to do a juggle between the front and the side view, because again because we don't know the camera angle, because the camera angle from the front is going to be different from the back. So something with Spotlight is if we come over to samples and turn this off, that means we can then go back and actually move it around without projecting the kind of image on top of it. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, because I'm going to try and match this as much as I can. And if we have a play with field of view, .35 is quite close. I'm going to base it off the lips a little, and this is kind of turned up a little bit, so I'm not worried about the top of the head. You can kind of see it's quite far off, but again, we don't know the field of view on this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to Documents, I'm going to come over to Z-App, and I'm just going to click this for front, and that's going to, no matter where I kind of move this, if I want to get back to it, I've got like a thing here. That's going to give me my my position. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, because I've got this, I'm going to actually add in a layer, and I'm going to go back down the subdivisions, and I'm going to start moving it into place a little bit. As long as we're hitting some of those like kind of key notes. I have a suspicion that this is a very, very a very big focal length. So turn them back on and off. And I know, again, I'm still in the in symmetry. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Do I move the eyes? Don't I move the eyes? Move the eyes? Don't I move the eyes? Let's move them. Oh, I keep doing the wrong bloody one. Nope. Awesome. Hey, Nevin. So I'm just picking one side to kind of like work from right now. And then again, we've got that same problem as what we had before, where we kind of like moved it along, and it kind of looked a little bit strange. So we're just gonna have to, again, do this stuff all by eye to what looks correct. The shape of the nose and stuff kind of kept quite well. Just a little bit there. We'll pull that down. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of like turn it on and off just to see where we're going with it. So he's got quite hooded eyes, which is fine, but his eyebrows do come up a little bit with it. We've got to be careful not to put too much expression into him. What are we doing time-wise? Just gonna kind of carve out where his lip line is. Looking like a younger version of him at the moment. This song sounds like, and here's my number, and call me maybe. sorry, sorry. Don't ask what this playlist is. Again, I just had to find something that was royalty free. Sorry. Yes, you can hear my dog Lola in the background. Start adding in some of the muscles and face fat a little bit more. So I still will be refining as we go along. But something I like to do at this point, so I'm not getting muddled with kind of like these strokes that I'm doing right here, I will come in and come over to geometry, and there's a thing here called high polish. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click it once, and what that does, that kind of cleans up my mesh a little bit, and I can start to see some of like the facial structure a little bit more, so we can kind of get these hard edges. So again, I'm starting to try to do like an exaggerated version of him, and then I will bring it into a little bit more of realism once I've got like those key points. Again, apologies, you'll hear my little girl dog in the background. What we can do, if we wanted to start adding some like characteristics to kind of like make it a little bit more liking, I'm gonna like add in kind of like his moustache. He always has had this little moustache. And then what I'm going to do is, because I want to keep it on here, I'm going to come over to extract and maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, and click OK, and then I will just kind of smooth it a little bit and just give it a little bit of texture. I'm not gonna worry too much, because eventually what I will do with this guy is I will do it in next gen. But it's just to kind of like help us visualize what the hell we're doing with this guy, to see if it is looking more like him. So we can even see here like how deep set his eyes are. He's got a very prominent brow. Like look at the length of that right there. So even though it kind of looks a little bit strange right here, it's, you know, it's how his head actually is. Just bringing in some of that jowl. Start bringing in some neck muscles as well. Can even Again, anything that kind of helps you visualize visualize the character, because we're so used to seeing like actors and things with makeup on. You know, that's why it's good. That's why I really like the face cast stuff, because you see it for what it is. Especially for like female faces as well. Female faces are so interesting to see, like as life casts. Like oh, what's her name from the Hunger Games? I've forgotten her name. Jennifer Lawrence. That's it. Sorry, took me a while. Took me a while. Um, she go check out her face in as a scan. Jed, gotta go for this evening. Hope you'll save this for the watch back later. Cool, see you, Jed. I'll try and save this. It should be on my stream somewhere. So, but we'll give you an update anyway on how this is all going. If people are enjoying it, then I'll do more. But as I said, I'm kind of doing it because I want to do more personal work, and having you guys there to motivate me as like teaching in a way, kind of like helps me out a lot. Otherwise, I just get a little bit lazy. And then I just know I have to make it look good because you guys are watching. It's like extra pressure. So just checking on it. Got those again. If I know the shape that I'm going to do, so I know I'm trying to get these superciliary arches, which are these little things here. These shapes, so I know that I want them here, so right there. So I'm gonna exaggerate them a little bit. If you guys don't know that these are normally very prominent on men, and normally it shows how much testosterone you kind of have. So that's why on men they're kind of like a lot more or masculine head skull shapes. You go check out somebody who's got gigantism, like these things like pop, they're like really there. So for example, like Jason Momoa is like a really good example to go and check out. He's like super indented in the head there, in with the superciliary arches. Right, I'm gonna get his eyes to look a little bit more like our Vincent. So what I'm gonna try and do is actually gonna. Oh, I should save actually. So if you guys didn't know, when you save something and say you've got your mesh at the top, when you save, it's going to replace this name. So what I like to do is I like to come in and add a star shape. I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller, teeny tiny, and I'm just gonna shove it in his head. So, and I'm going to bring it all the way to the top, just so that's at the top. And then I'm going to save this, and like the high res, we'll call it Vincent 01. So something that we can do at this point is this is starting to look a lot more like him, which is good. So I think it's a good time to kind of like to check it out in a different lighting, in a different scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Keyshot. You guys can use whatever you whatever you want. I use Keyshot because that's what I'm familiar with. So what I'm going to do, if you guys haven't used it before, I'll just quickly show you how to set that up. So I'm just going to go Keyshot, so you activate it right here, and render passes. I'm just going to click this, and that will send it over to Keyshot. So we'll wait a little bit, and then I can take a sip of my cold coffee. Right, Keyshot is now open. Hey Ethan. Good, interested to see how it's got. Looking forward to using this knowledge for my next project. Cool. Oh yeah, I hope this is helping you guys. Right, so now we've got it in here. What I'm just gonna do is there's a few settings that I always kind of use. I always use this kind of background, and I always go for a color as well. Okay. Size, HDRI, brightness. Just going to tone it down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab material, use the ZBrush materials, we'll just go for a grey. I'll do for now. I'll just stick that on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some lighting. So lighting in this is a little bit strange. So what you kind of do, I'm just going to scale this up. What's going on here? So for the lighting in Keyshot, we actually apply a material, which is lighting material. So I'm just going to grab that, and I'm just going to move the model kind of so it kind of goes over the top. So this is going to help me work out where I need to improve my model. Let's make it a little bit more darker, like that. So, and now what we can do is, because I'm using like a white grey thing, I'm now kind of comparing it a little bit more, kind of analysing where the areas are that I need to kind of like work on. So for example, his jowls, it's difficult because this head cast is a little bit too old for what we're going for, or what I'm going for, should I say. We're kind of going between this and Dr. Fibes, which is, where are we? Dr. Fibes, where are you? This guy. So you can kind of see that he's kind of got like a little bit more fat. And you can really look at this right here. Look up here. You can see that zygomatic arch right there. This is bloody beautiful. So these are the kind of things I'm kind of like looking for, and again, this is why I do everything in black and white, because you kind of get away from all of the color, and you kind of really start to see some of the structure. So I can kind of see, yeah, his chin might be protruding a little bit more. We can sag these down a little bit more. These bring in, eyes go up, and the lip kind of hangs over a little bit with it. Perhaps bring these in a little bit more as well. So I'm like analysing what I'm doing. Even like the tash isn't right, the lips aren't right, the lips need to be thinner. They kind of need to kind of come up here a little bit more. So what I'm doing right now is I'm art directing. I'm art directing my work in here, so we can actually, what I'm gonna do, because this is something that everybody should be doing. I'm gonna screenshot it. Come on, come on, come on. Let's grab that like that. And then I'm going to create a new like this. Oop, paste that in. So those notes that I was giving myself, I'm actually going to draw them. I'm actually going to draw them on. So I said for the lips, come round a little bit. Again, I'm still just working in symmetry at the moment, so I'll probably only do one side, but I know that kind of needs to come over there, and then this needs to be a little bit bigger, blending into there a little bit. The lip is come down, and at the moment I've got it, you can see right here, I've kind of got it going like this, where his lip is a lot thinner and it kind of a little bit more straighter. So it's these little things that are going to make it look like him. We know we need that to go there. Distance between here and here. Sag that down a little bit. This kind of needs to be shaped off a little bit. So just there. I'm just drawing over this stuff to kind of like help me. This is good. And just kind of bring that around a little bit more. This nose kind of comes out a little bit too much. Again, you're seeing how I kind of give myself feedback. So I do apologize if this part is a little bit boring, but I kind of want you guys to see the kind of things I'm looking for. And even when I give feedback to people, it's just like the kind of stuff that I'm looking at and trying to understand. So you guys can kind of see, like, when I give you guys feedback and like the guys at work and things, like I'm trying to be critical of my own stuff to try and get closer to it, and I feel like it's something that we need to do more of. Artists, like, put that art director hat on and kind of like look at it as if it's not our work. Because if we start looking at it, if it's our own work, we start justifying it a little bit more, and then we kind of get precious of it. So just pretend it's somebody else's work, someone you don't like. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. And then we can it kind of becomes a lot more easier to kind of like give feedback, because you're kind of like taking yourself out of the situation. By the way, when I'm giving feedback, it's not that I don't like people. I was joking. Come on. It's over. So you can see like nothing is being untouched with this. I can see all of the stuff that kind of needs working on. And once you get on a roll with it, it becomes a lot easier to be able to give yourself feedback. So what I'm doing here, you can see that I'm doing these kind of like lines, and they're not straight lines. They kind of like have these kind of like curves to them. What I'm doing is, you know what I was saying earlier about when I kept on putting the mesh on like this. This is what I'm doing here. I'm kind of like working out where the mesh kind of needs to start bending in a little bit. Oh, where did it go? That was a good picture. Come back. Come on. There we go. It's so funny because when this guy gets older, his eyes like really kind of like drop. He's got a very square nose. So I haven't even started doing any like detail of like eyelids and stuff like that yet, because I'm still really trying to just get those forms in place still. Okay. So now what I would do is I'm just gonna. Whoa. Come on. Come on. And I'm gonna grab that face, because that was like the main reference. And then I'm just gonna grab a screenshot and I will add it to my PureRef. Something I like to do as well is I like to just grab some screenshots just as I'm going along. Because even though I'm going to be changing it, it's good to always like look back at where you've come from. Because sometimes if you just want to, if you don't get a chance to do this stuff all the time, you know, it'll be a case of like just grabbing some images and opening that up, because it's going to be easier to open that up than it is a Maya file or whatever. Vincent, you guys got any questions? I don't know how many of you are still on here. Let me have a look. No, I have no idea who's watching. 15 watching. Oh. Started stream 88 minutes ago. Oh, so there are 15 people watching. Oh, hello everybody. If you haven't said hello already, come and say hey. Come and say hey. Okay, so I'm gonna do this for another 20 minutes. And then we'll call it a night. I have a question. Are you planning to make a full render, or is this sculpt practice? I am going to do a full render of it. I've been wanting to do this guy for a while, and yeah, I'm gonna go full render. We're gonna do XGen with it. I've even done some tests because I started sculpting this guy probably about 4 weeks ago, and then I just wanted to resculpt it because I learned a lot from doing the first one. And I was actually getting him to talk, so I had like a full facial rig and stuff in it. So that's the kind of dream where I want to go in this. So yeah, we'll see where we get to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this so I can always come back to it. Or what should we do in it? Screenshots, Vincent. And now we're going to start to apply some of these things. If you document the full process, I'd love to see it extra as well. That's what I'm hoping I'm going to do with this is yeah, do these recordings so you guys can see how I'm working. I'm gonna start with the easiest thing first. So yeah, we'll kind of like, these will end up getting moved over to K9 workshops as well, so you guys have access to this stuff. If you're watching this and not on K9 workshops, it's a free Discord that you can come and join, and get feedback and stuff like this. I do keep thinking, like, one of these Sundays I'm gonna just jump on, and then if anybody wants any feedback and stuff, I'm more than happy to like give some feedback on people's work as well. But it's all time. I'm just looking at those notes that I made myself. Probably won't talk for the next bit while I do this, but if you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. It's just you guys can You've heard my voice enough. How do you know when I'm getting tired? I stop talking. My team would be happy with that. Something I know I said I wasn't going to talk, but if you find sometimes these shadows are a little bit too deep, if you come over to render, and there should be preview shadows, you can turn this off right here, and if you want, I mean, something that I normally do, enable and just bring this over here. I'm going to move some of these out of the way because there's a couple on top of each other. I don't know why those are there. It's me trying to sort out my ZBrush. So we're going to do that. I'm going to store so I can easily get back to that. So now I can see what this stuff is doing right here. Mess it out. Cool, see you later, Phoenix. Again, we're still keeping with symmetry for now, until I get more likeness. Get some of those hooded eyes in. What I'm going to do is, instead of going from here, I know that this is the eyelid right here, so I'm just going to grab that, And I'm going to pull this down just a little bit more. So what we can do as well, just double check our reference. So yeah, we can really see how hooded they are, and this is why I wanted to kind of go from that point that I was saying instead of bringing those down. Is because you can see right here, you can see the tassel plates. You can see how it really curls over, and then we can do, let's just grab, inflate, and already it's starting to look so much more like him. This is my boy Vincent. You guys got any questions? How many? 13. 13 still watching. You guys are strong. Checking out this. I'm gonna blend some of this in a little bit more. You guys been doing the speed sculpting? It's a good one. It's comics. I didn't pick it. Tier picked it. So, but I think we're gonna be doing it at K9 this week. Next week? I can't remember. So I'm just thinking about where the skull is being attached to the eyes. Right here. So I normally get like this kind of thing here, and then this is deep right there, and that's because where the actual tassel plates are attaching. So this is where you get this kind of thing here. I can actually show you. Just going to go into this as an example. Oops, sorry, just realised I was like itching Itching my face. Where is it? So you can see from this image, you can see how it's attached. So, and this is stuff that you can see. And you can see then the fat is built over the top, so it kind of like pulls in. So this is, see this stuff right here. So this is all fat right here, orbital fat, and that's what's kind of creating this kind of here. It's just like pushing through a little bit. So that's where all of that's coming from. And then you can kind of like break up this fat a little bit. So if we kind of like shave it back. And then normally it's kind of like three kind of like pockets. So you got the middle, the side, and there. It's a Ben Merrick. How's it going, my friend? You'll really see like how the fat has kind of like really started to hang. Like here, it's got such a unique face. Like as he got older, everything just started like hanging a lot more. And then if you, especially if you see pictures of him in like Edward Scissorhands and stuff, like just like how much it like really started to hang. It's so cool. Such a unique face. Look at him, stunner. Those eyebrows. Whew. He's not my man crush at all. So again, this is too old, but we can kind of use it as a reference. Again, we're starting off as doing it as like a caricature, and then as we start to refine those forms a little bit more, we will then kind of bring it back more into the realism. Obviously, we won't do that tonight because we've only got another 5 minutes. What are you saying, Ben? Try to make sense with asset pack that didn't have any assets I planned to use. Please, you are good at doing this. Just did a stream for Vertex about oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ben. It happens, man. It happens. Ben teaches at Vertex. He's a super talented environment artist. If you guys want to learn any environment stuff, Ben is your man. And again, we'll just do some shadowing under the eyes because it's, why not? It's fun. Gives that moody look. We should probably put some hair on him, but we'll do that next time. Don't know when next time is. I'll try and do it. I'll try and do this again. I quite enjoyed it. Once I got past the initial fear. Yes, even professionals get scared sometimes. How to play speedrun. if you want to learn how to play speedrunners as well as amazing characters, I fear I've lost that skill of speedrunners. We should do a game and see if we can see. Gosh, I haven't played that for in ages, man. I can hear your voice now. What? Hear my screaming? You mean? Oh, the screaming hasn't changed. I still scream. Still scream when I play games. They must have hated us. They must have hated me at Lionhead. Although you had a good scream on you as well. I think I encouraged it. At least she can still speed sculpt. Yeah. Oh dear. So I'll quickly give you a rundown. Whoever's listening to this, me and Ben used to work with each other at Linehead on Fable, and every lunchtime we would play this game called Speedrunners, and like every lunchtime. There was the times where we played a few different games as well, but Speedrunners was the favorite, and it was to the point where like we were like ending up screaming like at in lunchtime. We ended up having a speedrunners tournament. If you guys haven't played the game Speedrunners, it's amazing. You can get it on PlayStation now. I've actually got it on PlayStation, but we used to play it on Steam. Oh, such a good game. It's like a side scroller kind of thing. Ah, them were the days. Oh, it's time for us to finish. It is 1 minute past. Right, everybody. I won't do any more sculpting on this. So what I'll do is every time it might be an ad hoc kind of thing. I'm not gonna say every Wednesday night because I just don't know how I feel at the time for sculpting. But anytime I kind of like work on this, I'll kind of like shove a message in the Discord, and yeah, if you guys want to join, you can join. If you don't, I won't be offended. But yeah, just hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is the final result. Oh, what we can do? Let's quickly whack it in Keyshot. Let's send it over. See what it looks like. There we go. Starting to look a little bit more like him, which is nice. I can start to see where I've done a bit too much now. But yeah, we get the idea. Where's target point? Let's set camera target point. Ooh. Okay. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Cool. Alright guys, I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much for watching and take care. Love you, bye. Night night.